Rymir Carter offers proof. Jay-Z tricked his mother by using old family photos. When Rymir Carter first spoke, very few people listened. It was simply another kid with a wild tale, they said. However, he is now showing rather than speaking. They're purported. Family albums will soon be released. They are accompanied by a ton of old photographs, scribbled timelines, and emotional receipts that could shake the Carter empire more than any lawsuit ever has. The drama in the courtroom is over. Since this is legacy warfare, Rymir is done waiting for a court to give him any real thought. He has given the internet the power to make decisions. So, what exactly is the claim? It's simple. Jay-Z caught his mother Wanda when she was just a teenager. The term trapped is not being used indiscriminately. According to Wanda, who passed away many years ago, she first met him when she was 16. Not some dreamy flesh, attractive, not a famous connection. It was about power and control, she stated. He was famous, mature, and impenetrable. She was a little child trying to make it through. In the middle of that was Rymir. For years, he has been trying to prove paternity. He has prior expertise with interviews, petitions, and judicial actions. But after you've exhausted all legal options, you go public, which is exactly what this revelation of family records is. There are now more factors besides DNA. It's about shifting the emphasis, shifting the conflict from judges to reporters. From court records to social media scrolls. He's saying something more than "I'm his son." He says, "Look for yourself." To be honest, Jay-Z has never mentioned it. Not once. Total silence. His attorneys had rejected it for years, referred to it as false, embarrassing, and degrading. And to be honest, from a public relations standpoint, that silence used to work. But this is in 2025. Silence no longer destroys stories, makes them more intense. People are tired of hearing pretentious remarks and being ruthlessly rejected. They want to be vulnerable, open, and emotional. And Rymir is doing his best. Every time he talks, he leads with suffering instead of influence. You can hear it in his voice. He's not interested in money. He's looking for one's identity. He's trying to find the truth. Convinced that she had a child with one of the most influential musicians, his mother died. And that child's existence has been eradicated year after year, instance after instance. Not to mention that Wanda not only said it, but also signed it. Left behind sworn statements, affidavits, and letters detailing everything. But none of it ever made it past the gatekeepers of the legal system. According to the judges, it was submitted incorrectly. It was without authority, the lawyers said. Every complexity becomes another obstacle. Therefore, Rymir came up with a novel way that gained popularity without requiring a trial. This family album is more than just a Dollar Tree scrapbook for a photo booth. The chronology is handled with care. Images from childhood, early memories, and documents that say, "This is my life, and I've been telling you for years." Whether or not a judge agrees, the internet already is. On Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, users are stitching, comparing, and conversing. The same nose, eyes, and jaw. Legal systems holes are being filled by side-by-side collages and slow-motion interviews. Make people feel something. It works too. People aren't only interested, they have an interest. It's being treated as though it were a serious crime. Who is lying? Who is being shielded? Why has Jay-Z failed to take a test and stop this? Is there something to hide? Or is this child indeed stubbornly clinging to the only story he has ever heard? It only needs momentum, which is when things start to become heated and the court of public opinion doesn't need evidence. Ari Myers, got it? During her lifetime, Wanda told the same story over and over. Sometimes to friends, sometimes to lawyers, and sometimes in writing. She didn't hesitate. Her age was 16. Jay-Z was older. In addition, they weren't as consensual in their relationship as many people like to believe young girls with famous people are. Something was out of whack. It was pressure. It was silent. That is what most people fail to notice. This was never just a case of paternity. There was a power case. Story about what happens when one group has fame, fortune, and connections, while the other group simply has memories and pain. Wanda signed an affidavit outlining all of this. She said that she had been expelled, that Rymir's father was Jay-Z, that she would never be successful, and that she didn't. Not in court, but her son pressed on. Every time the legal route failed, Rymir took a different route. When the courts rejected his complaint on technical grounds, he turned to the media. When the media changed, he turned to social media. He is no longer using the middleman at all. The album drop is his greatest swing to date, but he's not doing it alone. Jay-Z has been linked to allegations of paternity in the past. Letitia Meir once went so far as to pretend to be Jay-Z's daughter and run a whole Instagram account on the name of his first daughter. Her family members co-signed it as well. She interviewed people, she picked up speed, and she was gone. Another man, Rymir Carter, launched his own battle, claiming that he was the son of Jay-Z. Jay's godmother openly accused Jay's legal team of interfering with DNA tests. Even the idea that Jay was the father of Chanel Scott's son Malik was floated. When a DNA test showed her spouse wasn't the father, the stories piled up like receipts, and the trend is loud. There is silence after the accusations, and swift denials are made. Jay-Z's team has always played it the same way. Call it ridiculous, don't give any DNA, and disappear. Legally, it's airtight. But on a cultural level, it's starting to stink. Because every time a new name is added to that list, it gets harder to believe that they are all lying. Since each of them tells a different version of the same story, he never even recognized them. Beyoncé came next. She remains silent about this. She doesn't have to. The pillars of her brand are elegance, secrecy, and perfection. She posts pictures of her kids, she gives a tour. Her honors are given to her. Furthermore, Messins's does not exist in her reality. However, fans are not foolish. They remember the upbringing of Nixon, Beyoncé's half-brother, and how his mother accused her of abandoning him in spite of spending money on a mansion near their house. She never responded, as of right now. But like Jay, she is quiet, which is part of thestery. It is said that she is defending the brand. Some say she helped conceal this story in the first place, so that she didn't want the Carter family's stellar image to be damaged by unresolved strife and outside offspring. In the age of social media, looks are more powerful than facts. Thus, it doesn't matter if it is real or not. Moreover, the optics are getting jumbled. One of the most frequent responses to Jay-Z's courtside photo of Blue Ivy is, "Where's your other kid?" Every Grammy night selection made by Beyoncé results in someone losing a Grammy or deserving of better. When people feel that a story is being overlooked, they become more outspoken, delve deeper, and exert more effort, which causes it to pick up speed quickly. The internet continues to write its own truth the longer Carter stays mute. The significance of the photos was never intended. Old Polaroids, grainy photos, faded scans of infant faces, and teenage boys. That's what Timber Carter is betting on. Not because they are valid evidence in court, but because they speak a language that the internet can comprehend. The expressions "they look alike," "you can't tell me they don't look alike," and "side by side." That's the courtroom, not New Jersey, not some dusty judges on a bench. It's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's the comments section of a YouTube video with millions of views. Soon as those pictures from the family album were leaked, it was open season. People started creating their own timelines, drawing conclusions, and dragging well-known individuals through comment threads. Much like in Law & Order, young Jay-Z published slow-motion movies, and other users replicated them, compared and contrasted the Rymir high school video. Others, such as forensic experts, concentrated on cheekbones and jawlines. The problem was no longer DNA. The issue was narrative, and Jay's quiet, now construed as guilt. The question everyone was thinking about was simple. If you're not the father, why don't you just take the test? for someone who has built a career on transparency, storytelling, and self-reinvention. Jay's silence on this issue has been deafening. He now uses a different tone when discussing parenting, legacy, and his journey from Marcy projects to being a billionaire. Fans think of the young man who claims to have been abandoned for decades when they hear those comments. Not only left behind, but willfully ignored. Actually, this wouldn't sting as much if Jay weren't Jay. Heisno, more stars. He is the king of hip-hop. The blueprint is him. The man who turned misery into power, who gave Black entrepreneurs a symbol of hope, and who made generational fortune out of nothing. But what does it say about the idea that we have all adopted if he is specifically avoiding fatherhood? In this story, Rymir was never the only character. It concerns the ease with which authority can distort reality and give the impression of perfection. Jay-Z is not required to win the case. He just needs to outlive it. With enough time, silence, and legal veil, the public forgets. Not how 2025 works. The more people try to hide a narrative, the more people dig into it. Furthermore, when that story shows a distressed mother, a boy begging for acceptance, and the refusal of a billionaire to change turns into a morality play. The brand of Beyoncé is suffering collateral damage. It makes little difference whether she asked Jay to keep it a secret, whether she was aware of it, or whether she was merely attempting to keep things peaceful behind closed doors. Her image is now automatically enmeshed in this maze. Fans do not separate her from Jay-Z in terms of legacy. To them, they are one and the same. And when one individual seems to be hiding something, the whole thing starts to come apart. 4. Rymir being alive is more important than only seeking justice. With every year that passes without acknowledgement, the question becomes more pressing, more severe, and more intimate. He's not asking for a check, not requesting an inheritance. All he wants, anything a child wants, to receive recognition and the response, yes, I am aware of your identity. But in this case, no amount of denial is louder than quiet. Legacy does not reside in billion-dollar portfolios. Stories that people tell when you're not around contain it. Jay-Z's legacy is currently being rewritten by a young person with a photo album and a Wi-Fi connection. The courts could have failed him. The lawyers may have laid him to rest. On the other hand, the internet is listening and paying great attention.